Thanks to Baron of Dice, Grey Matter Gaming, and Monument Hobbies for sponsoring this video. The Adeptus Custodes have had a tumultuous edition so far. They came out of the gate with a fairly strong performance in a meta dominated by Eldari, won the first US Open of the edition in Tacoma, which is not Seattle, don't let anyone tell you that it is, and continued to be quite strong up until the first major balance data slate. Their Codex release was met with mixed feelings, mostly negative from the player base, but they've continued to put up good results in the competitive space with two strong detachments over the last several months. This new detachment, the Solar Spearhead, brings a whole new way to play the army by asking the question, but what if I wanted more dreadnoughts? And answering that question forcefully. As usual, a written companion to this video is available on goonhammer.com, link in the description. Detachment rule, Auric armor. Vehicle units gain the following. While they're at starting strength and not battle shocked, all non-aircraft vehicle units gain 2 objective control. When they are below starting strength, they can reroll hit rolls of 1. When they are below half strength, they also reroll wound rolls of 1. Walkers gain plus 2 inches to their movement characteristic and plus 1 to advance and charge rolls. In addition, up to 2 Custodes Walker units gain the character keyword, gaining access to enhancements and the ability to become your warlord. This is like an Adeptus Custodes Crusher Stampede, only made out of forge rolled resin. This detachment offers significant buffs to vehicles that don't usually have access to rerolls. You can effectively run a golden wall of Custodes armor with this, or just buff the hell out of the tanks and dreadnoughts supporting your golden girls and boys. The enhancements focus on buffing vehicle and mounted units in line with the rest of this detachment. 2 are really strong picks, while the others are pretty situational. Whether it's on a Blade Champion, Goliathus Dreadnought, or a Double Fist Telemon Dreadnought, you're gonna want to slam Adamantine Talisman into every list. A flat +1 to the attacks, strength, and damage of melee weapons is too good to ignore. Augury Uplink gives a character a 5-up Feel No Pain, functionally giving them 50% more wounds to play with. It's pricey for an infantry model, so pop it on a Telemon Dreadnought character instead and turn that brick of resin into a brick wall. If you've got a big enough walker to put this on, it becomes an auto take. Honored Fallen gives one of your vehicles a reroll once to hit aura to infantry and mounted units. It's not enough to make bikes especially reliable, and you've got bigger priorities for your enhancement slots than this. It's not awful though. Veterans of the Cataphractoi lets a nearby vehicle or mounted unit fall back and shoot. It's a good way to keep one of your vehicles from getting tagged by a harassing unit or just getting out of a rough combat you don't want to be in. There are 6 new stratagems here, largely adhering to the vehicles and dreadnoughts theme. Flawless Construction gives one of your vehicles -1 to be wounded if the strength of the incoming attack is higher than their toughness. Your vehicles are already tough, so why not no-sell a Demolisher Cannon while you're at it? Emperor's Vengeance lets models in a unit fight on death on a 4-up or 3-up if they're a walker. This is very funny, but a bit unreliable when you want to go out swinging with the Dreadnought. Wrathful Advance lets a unit pile in D3 + 3 inches instead of the usual 3. If you really need to pile into an enemy unit or onto an objective, it's handy, but with a buff to consolidation distance, this is pretty situational. Unstoppable is this detachment's Kool-Aid Man stratagem, letting a vehicle or mounted unit freely move through models and terrain. Getting move blocked is rough for vehicle-heavy armies, and this is your get out of traffic jam free card. It's a huge effect that's bound to catch some players off guard. Relentless Persecution lets a vehicle shoot and charge after advancing. Combined with this detachment's +1 to advance and charge rolls for dreadnoughts and the Unstoppable stratagem, you can slingshot one of your dreads into enemy territory in no time. Punishment Inescapable gives a shooting unit ignores cover and also ignores any modifiers to the hit rolls. It's an okay counter to smoke screens or other shooting debuffs and is a good way to get the most out of your AP -1 firepower. Let's not complicate things too much. If you're playing this detachment, you're running a lot of dreadnoughts. There's room for other vehicles as well, and Caladius tanks get a lot out of this detachment too. You'll also want to bring 1 or 2 infantry units to babysit objectives and perform actions, but the bulk of your army is going to be big golden vehicles smashing through walls and wreaking havoc on enemy lines. That said, while you're packing a lot of heat, be sure to watch out for devastating and mortal wounds. You're particularly vulnerable to those, and while you have high toughness multi-wound vehicles to work with, a few grenades and psychic attacks can really cut your day short if you're not careful. Let's go over the strengths and weaknesses. Your already powerful vehicles become even stronger. There's access to rerolls on vehicles that don't typically have them. There's also a banger stratagem selection here. Even gold can tarnish though, and there are a few weaknesses too. There's no protection against devastating wounds, which is the Custodes' Achilles heel. You're going to want a lot of command points, and Custodes don't have access to any easy command point generation. This detachment also feels a little too good, and it'll probably be adjusted soon. The Solar Spearhead detachment brings a fresh and thematic take to Adeptus Custodes, turning their vehicles, especially their dreadnoughts, into even more terrifying engines of destruction. With powerful buffs, potent stratagems, and enhancements that lean into the resilience and lethality of Custodes walkers, this detachment feels tailor-made for those who want to march ancient, golden war machines into battle and dominate the field with unyielding force. Lists will probably lean heavily into these vehicles, maybe taking along some Sisters of Silence or Imperial agents to handle scoring and objective play. On the competitive front, this detachment could make Custodes vehicles a more prominent feature of the meta, especially as it shores up some of their previous weaknesses. The flexibility of the enhancements and stratagems here ensures that this isn't a one-trick pony, but rather a versatile option for players who want to experiment with a different playstyle. Get your dreadnoughts ready, and may everyone prepare for the inevitable march of Gilded Doom. If you'd like to read more tactical analysis and see how we're running these golden armored gold medalists, head on over to goonhammer.com, and consider backing us on Patreon so we can afford all these Telemon dreadnoughts. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Baron of Dice, Monument Hobbies, and Grey Matter Gaming for sponsoring this video. I've been Cataphractoi McOramite, reminding you all to stay golden. Thanks for watching.